technical difficulties. Hi. Hopefully you guys can find me on here, not in my scheduled one. Apparently I did not do my homework well enough. I thought you could just kind of go into this scheduled live and have it go live, but apparently I need to do some syncing between hardware and software. Hillary, you found me! Thanks. It didn't work. I tried. It didn't work. I don't know if I need to sync up hardware, software. I don't know what it is. So I will do some research and try again next week for the scheduled post. Anyway, but I figured, such is life. So we'll just move forward and I'll just do it this way. So as you can see, it's angled behind me. Oh, and I forgot to switch it, but that's okay because I'm not writing anything down. So... all right. Oh, yes. Thank you, Hillary. I probably will be calling you for help because I didn't do a good job at figuring this out. All right. So this morning, I'm excited to talk about it because it's sort of important and near and dear to my heart. This particular topic. So this is phase 3 of the life balance, and this morning is about knowing yourself. And so it's going to be a little more personal. Some of it may be more helpful for some of you than others. I'll get to more of that in a later, but why it may be more helpful to some than others. But I thought I'd start with a story. So I went to Bunko last night, and my brain was just not functioning. I was tired, and I was doing stupid stuff. And so I ended up telling stupid things that Lauren has done stories. So one of them was that I was riding in the back of my car. We were coming back from like an arts and crafts fair when I was a kid, and I had gotten this sort of rainbow prism that you hang on a suction cup. The suction cup had a hook, and so I was being stupid and putting the suction cup on my forehead and hanging the thing from the suction cup, the hook that was on the suction cup on my forehead. And I'm telling this story, and my friend is like, no, and I was like, oh yes. I had a giant hickey like right here in the middle of my forehead because that's what happens when you put a suction cup repeatedly on your forehead. I know, to know me is to love me. I just do stuff like that, and I don't really think it all the way through. It just kind of happens. Anyway, so that's a stupid Lauren story. We all have stupid things that we do. I seem to do them more than most, which is fine. It just is what it is. So, by the way, that was in high school. It wasn't like I was a 6-year-old or anything. Good times. Anyway, so that's my opening story. So this morning I wanted to talk about knowing yourself, and originally I thought I was going to talk about, I'm looking down at my notes if you're wondering what I'm doing, I thought I was going to talk about more like personality types, which I think is really important to sort of know how you're wired and know how to best handle life for yourself, but the more I was thinking about it when it comes to life balance, I don't know that personality types is the most important thing to understand about yourself when it comes to that. So I sort of revamped that, and we're taking a new approach. So there's 3 parts. I'm holding up 3 parts to how I think about knowing yourself and the steps that come after that when it comes to life balance. So when it comes to knowing yourself, I think what's important is understanding capacity, speed, and organizational skill. And I'll delve into those a little bit more in just a minute, but I kind of wanted to share a little bit about my story. And it may be more helpful for some of you than others. For those of you that have your act together and can stay on top of things in life and, generally stay on top of paperwork and other stuff, this may not be as helpful for you. But for those of you out there who struggle with that kind of stuff, it's here to encourage you and to let you know that you're not alone, and that life is just hard depending on who you are. It's harder for some than others. Okay, so my story. So when my kids were little, it was really difficult for me. I learned a lot about myself that I didn't know before. I tended to think of myself, I was a little haphazard, but I could generally keep up with life. Turns out, when you have small children, it just sort of, it derails everything, and I could not keep up. I couldn't keep up. Not to mention I was very, very tired, and I do not cope well when I am tired. I get very weepy, depressive, anxiety-ridden. My son didn't sleep for like the first 2 years of his life, so I was very tired. Didn't go well. On top of that, I'm an introvert, and so I needed a lot of time to myself, which you don't get when you're a stay-at-home mom. So it was always a question between time to myself or sleeping, both of which I desperately needed, but I couldn't really get. And so I really struggled in those early years to just keep up with life in general. piles of laundry, piles of papers, piles of dishes. You get the idea. And for a long time, I felt really bad about myself, about who I was, about not being able to cope, about wanting to be different, about wanting to be better, about wanting to be able to be that mom who can stay on top of things and put up seasonal decorations and can keep up with life. And I just simply could not do it. It's better now that my kids are a little older. I can keep up better than I used to, but it's still really hard for me. And I think I'm getting better at loving who I am, regardless of how well I can keep up with things. And that's why today's is so important to me. That's the message I want to give. It's not just about knowing yourself. It's about loving yourself to flaws and all, and being okay with that and moving forward. So, all right, that's a little bit about my story. So when it comes to knowing yourself, I came up with 3 pieces that relate to life balance for me. So capacity, speed, and organizational skills. I already said those. So let's talk about capacity. I think we're all gifted a different size cup for whatever reason. Some people are given those giant, like 40-ounce Tervis cups, that can hold tons of stuff, and they can just keep it going and hold that all in there, and it's all fine. And other of us are given like little teacups, and that is what we can handle, and that is all we want to handle. And I think it's important to remember that we all have different capacity for what we can actually do in life. And so when it comes to life balance, I have some friends, they can just do things. They want to do things. They like to stay busy. They like to stay on top of things. They're task-oriented. They enjoy all of the things that they do, and they can keep up with it better. If I tried to keep up with their schedule, I would lose my ever-loving mind. It would be really, really bad for me. I have a teacup. Like, this is how many things I can handle, and that has to be okay. And I need to not be jealous of what they can do, and they need to not judge me for the fact that I can't do all the things that they do. Okay, so capacity. How big is your cup? How much can you fit in your life and reasonably handle for the human being that you are? And that's part of knowing yourself, is knowing what you can handle and then deciding how to apply that and what your skill sets are. Me too, Hillary. This is how much I can do. I can't do, no, it's not happening. Okay, so capacity, size of your cup. Speed. I thought about this in terms of a funnel. I wish the two analogies went together, but they don't. So the speed at which you can do things. So when I go to make dinner, and this is a topic for another day, but I have ADD, which I do want to talk about some because I think it's really important. And I managed it better early in life, but with kids, it has just, oh man, it's a lot to handle. So when I make dinner, I get an ingredient out, and then I remember something else that I'm supposed to do. So I'll be in the middle of chopping something, put down my knife, and go and, move the laundry over, or whatever it is. This is not the most efficient way to make dinner. It just, you're supposed to get all the ingredients out and do all of your things, and then make the meal. It takes me an hour and a half to make dinner because I'm running all over the place. And I have strategies for trying to stay on task and trying to stay focused, but it's hard for me. That takes effort. And there's other people, they just sit down and they make dinner. They can get it done in 20 minutes and it's no big deal. So how fast you're able to do the things that are in your cup makes a difference too. I mean, if you're a Tervis person and you can just whip through those items, if you've got a big, large, like a funnel, the hole at the bottom, things are going to flow through really easily. But if you're a teacup person, or if you're a funnel person and you've got a really small funnel hole, if you're a 40-ounce Tervis cup person and you have a really small funnel hole at the bottom, it's going to take longer to get through even if you have a lot of things. So capacity, speed, how quickly you can move through things is going to impact how much you can balance in your life. Okay, and the last thing is organizational skill. And I kind of added that one at the end. The capacity and speed made a lot of sense to me, but I think organizational skill makes a big difference too, especially as parents, as moms, trying to keep track of your schedule and your kids' schedule. Hi, Christy. I know you haven't said hi yet, but I'm saying hi to you anyway. Trying to keep track of all the schedules and all the paperwork and all the things is a lot to do, and it's difficult for some people. For other people, it comes very naturally, and they have lots of systems in place, and it's totally fine. For me, it's hard. And so, depending on your level of being able to keep up with stuff, it's going to impact how much you can do in life. And so it's important to know yourself and know if that's a skill set of yours or not a skill set of yours and something you need to work on. But I think those 3 things, capacity, speed, and organizational skill, should really impact what you're trying to balance. So that's for life balance. I think those are the most important things to know about yourself, is how do those things apply to you and what are you capable of. So that's number one. Once you figure out yourself and you know those things, the second part, which is the harder part, frankly, is loving yourself anyway. And I say it's harder. I think some people, this is why I think this talk is going to be more applicable to some people than others. I think other people love themselves more naturally, they're capable and confident, and it's all good. Now, I consider myself capable and confident, but sometimes I have trouble loving myself. I want to be a different person some days. I want to not struggle in these areas. I want to be able to do all the things that some of my other friends can do, and I feel like I can't do because of my capacity, speed, and organizational skill. And that's hard. It can be hard. And it takes practice and work to love yourself and choose to be okay with what you can do and not want for what everybody else is doing. Okay, and for instance, I was going to show you all a picture when it was on my laptop, but now I can't, so I'll post it in the comments later. But I was going to show you all a picture of my kitchen yesterday, because I was painted all over spring break, and then had to paint something again this weekend. My daughter's furniture, she got a new loft, painted the bed. New loft, got a used loft that I had to repaint. Anyway, so I was doing that. I haven't had a whole lot of time for housework. It just hasn't happened. And my body has been very tired from all the painting. So my kitchen was a disaster. I mean, it's a disaster. And I hesitated to post the picture because it's a very vulnerable thing to do, to be like, oh my gosh, my kitchen is totally out of control. And it's not like it lives like that all the time. I mean, I cleaned it up yesterday. It's still not up to many people's standards, but it's much better than it was. Like, there's surface area and we can function and it's going to be okay. It does cause me stress when it's like that. And I know there's some of you like, I could not live in that space because, oh my gosh, this is out of control and it's not going to happen. So, to each their own, and do what works for you and do what's important. If it's important to clean the kitchen, more important than sleep, then you clean the kitchen. I have people who can't sleep when their kitchen is messy. I don't have that problem. And I try to keep that in mind too. My brain is wandering away. Let me try again. I'm going to post a picture of my kitchen to say that you have to love yourself anyway. And I would now let people into my house even with my kitchen looking like that. There was a time when I wouldn't. I would be too embarrassed. I would be too frustrated with myself, wanting to be different, and I just kind of decided, you know what, this is me. It doesn't look like this all the time. I'm doing the best I can in life, and you're just gonna have to love me anyway. Just like I love myself anyway. So I'll post a picture of my kitchen later so y'all can all feel better about your kitchens. All right, so the last part is don't compare. And this goes to helping you love yourself, is not comparing yourself to other people and wanting what they have or wanting to be who they are. So I have a really good friend, well, several actually, who do seasonal decorations. These people are amazing. I don't know how they do it. So they have all the things, not all the things, but lots of things around their house change out for St. Patrick's Day or for Valentine's Day or for any kind of, not just like Christmas, but like all the holidays. And my daughter has told me, I really want to do that. And I'm like, oh, I want that for you too, honey. Like, I can't do that for you because I don't get things out until like 3 days before the holiday. And then they sit out for like another month until I put them away. It is not my skill set. I am so bad at it. And it's hard not to compare it to myself, to the people who can do that, who are able to keep up with that. And I want to do that for my kid, but I just have to say, I'm sorry you didn't get that, Mom. Like, you got me, and too bad. I did put some decorations in boxes that she could get down, so if she wants to do them, she can do the decorations and put them up. And if she is that person, that is great, and I want to enable her to do that. But I am not that person, and that has to be okay. So not comparing ourselves to other people and trying to be somebody who we're not. Because I really, really truly believe, and this is my message of today, is that each and every person is so unique and so amazing and designed to be exactly who you are. And I think sometimes we forget that we're created to be us, not anybody else, and that we've got to search for our strengths, and celebrate our strengths, and work on our weaknesses, not just accept them, but work on them, but love ourselves through them, love ourselves anyway, and not get down on ourselves for a messy kitchen or not keeping up with the laundry or, more task-oriented people, not having as much quality time with your kids, not having that be harder to focus on that sort of thing. So that's my takeaway for today is love yourself and don't compare. And when it comes to life balance, know yourself and what you can do. Are you a Tervis person or a teacup person? And how big is the hole in your funnel? How fast do things cycle through? And how organized are you? So, okay, that's all I had. So next week, I'm really excited about next week too. Next week we'll wrap up the Life Balance Challenge, Life Balance Talk. It'll be Grace for Yourself. So it kind of ties into this week, but I wanted to give it its whole week because I think that it's really important. What was I going to say? Oh, and I was supposed to introduce myself at the beginning, which I did not do. So for those of you who don't know and are still here, or still watching, I am Lauren. I am a family documentary photographer. And I do this because I want to help moms. That is the whole reason I started my business, is I want to encourage moms and tips, life hacks, whatever I can do. So, and if you haven't already joined my group, please come join my group. We're having an awesome time over there. In fact, next week I'm very excited because I'll be posting a challenge. We're going to skip it this week, but posting a challenge next week. And whoever participates, I'm going to be drawing a winner for a free coffee, either from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, whichever one you want. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about the group. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be an awesome tribe of people where we can encourage each other and love on each other. Oh, my thing is shaking every time I move. So, okay, let me see. What did Hillary say? I'm not a seasonal decorator either. For a while, we didn't have, basement space or anything. And so I didn't even have decorations. Where the heck am I supposed to put those things? And now we have them, and I still can't use them. I don't know. All right. I hope you'll have a good week, and I will see y'all next week. And I'm going to try again to schedule the live. We'll see if I can actually get it in the right place this time. I'll do a little more homework ahead of time, and we'll make it work. All right. See y'all later. Bye.